Random numbers, these mysterious creatures. We use them every day using one line of code that generates a random number. But can you come up with an algorithm that generates a random number? No? That is weird. It's like if you open your computer, someone's sitting in there, shouting a random number every time. But that's a lie. Mr. Bill Gates? Hello, good sir. I look fucking weird. Doesn't fit me. Just shave it off, man. Anyways, today I'm gonna look like this. Okay, guys, this stuff is crazy. This is about cryptography. This is the cryptography section of Ethereum book, and it's about to blow your mind. An Ethereum wallet is a private key, and from that private key, we generate a public key and it's called a trapdoor function because it's like a trapdoor. That is a trapdoor. So it's a trapdoor because it can open one way and not the other. So if you're inside, you can push the door off and come out. But if you're outside, there is no way to push the door and open it. Otherwise known as irreversible. So there are irreversible functions in mathematics, and we use these functions to generate a public key from our private key. These functions are irreversible, meaning you can easily generate a public key from if you have the private key, you can easily generate the public key. You cannot guess the private key from the public key. So in Ethereum wallets, you just make it 256 bits random value, which by the way has more number of combinations than the number of atoms in the universe, so it's totally secure. That random number is your private key, and you generate a public key from it, which is your Ethereum wallet address. So if any funding, any ETH is transferred to that address, you can claim it by having the private key. You don't actually use the private key, you just prove that you have the private key, and that's all. If you prove that you have the private key without sending it, you are in control of the funding. So if you want to transfer some funds from your wallet to another wallet, you need to sign that transaction with your private key. And this signing process is a magical process in which your private key doesn't get shared, but you prove without sharing the private key that you have the private key. So if you have the private key, you own the account. It's beautifully described here. The public key is calculated from the private key using elliptic curve multiplication. It's a specific type of multiplication. Multiplication, yeah. So in multiplications, if you have the result of the multiplication and you have one of the values of the multiplication, you can use division to find the other value. But in elliptic key multiplication, the division is called finding the discrete logarithm, is as difficult as trying all possible values of k, a brute force search that will likely take more time than this universe will allow. So that's how your wallet in Ethereum is secure. I thought I could read 3 chapters today, but these chapters are intense, man. They have a lot of mathematics. Look at this. This is an elliptic function. And yeah, it's taking more time than I supposed it would take. Another funny thing that I found was the fact that random values don't exist. And it's all related to cryptography. A private key is just a random number. But how do you generate a random number? Everything in this world is deterministic. So, the OS random number generator is initialized by a human source randomness, which is why you may be asked to wiggle your mouse around for a few seconds or press random keys on your keyboard. An alternative could be cosmic radiation noise on the computer's microphone channel. And none of these are truly random because there is no randomness in the world. Everything is deterministic. But to us humans, who are not good with measuring microscopic things, like the size of your pee-pee. It sounds random, but it just sounds random. They're all deterministic. Like cosmic radiation noise, if you want to detect cosmic radiation noise at some point in the universe at the exact same time, you can actually do it because it's deterministic. That's how you get it in the first place, because it's deterministic. You find it and you use that as a random value for your private key generation, but it's not random. So randomness doesn't really exist. Random number generators are typically software pseudo-random number generators. There is no random number generators. There are only pseudo-random number generators, because random numbers don't fucking exist, man. It's a lie. Society has been lying to us. Can random number generators be predicted? Yeah, surprisingly. The general purpose random number generators that are in most widespread use are easily predicted. But the thing is that the general purpose pseudo-random generators, like calling the random number generator in C++ or Python, they're predictable, because if you know exactly when they were called, you can actually mimic what they did and get the same random number. That's why you can use a seed in Minecraft to get to a certain world in a certain position and replicate other people's worlds using a seed. That's the key, the seed. So in most of these random number generators, they use the current time in milliseconds from 1970, the year 1970 or something like that. They get the current time in milliseconds from 1970, and they use that as a seed to generate a random number. They just put that time in milliseconds into a function, like they get the sine of it, they get the cosine of it, they do some random stuff, and they come up with a number that you call a random number, but it's not a random number. It's just a function that changes a lot, and it's kind of unpredictable. But if you have the seed, it's so fucking predictable. It's more predictable than humans, than human action. So yeah, random numbers are a lie. Anyways, I got to finish this chapter number 4. But anyways, day 2 is completed. I'm dying. Thank you guys for watching. I got really tired today, but I went ahead and studied a lot of this stuff, and thank you if you're watching. You're helping me a lot, because documenting this process gives me energy to go on. And this is footage of me unwinding over watching some friends and eating some noodles. So yeah, thank you.